Welcome back to the Yonko Podcast. It's predictions for Chapter 1093. My name is Alex.
I'm Kat.
I'm Brock.
And we are here to tell you what may or may not happen next chapter, because we don't know, but we are lucky in that it comes in 1 week's time. Thank you, Oda. We really want to keep going with where we're at.
I've got a little bit of break from the first season being finished.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed your break. No more breaks until Christmas.
Even though he's working. Even though he's been working the entire break.
Yeah, and it sounds like, with season 2 of the live action coming out, you're going to be working even harder to make sure that all follows the story direction that you want, which you should definitely continue to be super involved with. I shouldn't tell you what to do. Thank you for watching our content. If you enjoy it, please drop us a like, subscribe to our channel, drop us a comment, talk to us about what kind of things you want to see in future videos, if you like our content, if you want us to change it up. And always ring that bell. So, predictions for Chapter 1093, whose name we do not know. First, we will go to Brock. What is happening next chapter?
That's me.
Yeah, it's you, boy.
My thought process, so starting from the top, I think one, two things will happen in terms of KUMA. I think either we won't see KUMA for a while again because he's on another spurt of traveling.
True.
Or we'll get a little look at this is where he's at, and maybe a little tiny speck into his potential thought process, and or his unconscious thought process.
Maybe some flashbacks he and
like,
Bonnie
and
share.
that might solidify exactly what or why he's doing what he's doing. I think that'd be super cool. All right, and then I don't think we'll go back to Aka Inu.
No Lava Boy action?
Well,
Maybe?
he does seem to have thoughts that maybe there's something he's going after. But he also doesn't know where Bonnie is.
No idea.
So, yeah, I don't see why. I don't see any reason to go back to Aka Inu at the moment. So I'm gonna say no Aka Inu next chapter.
Okay.
No
Aka Inu.
No Aka Inu next chapter.
No Hellhound.
All right. I think in terms of Egghead, one of three things might start it out.
Okay.
I think most likely is continuation of Gear 5 Luffy and Kizaru. I think second most likely is Zoro versus Lucci will start being seen as they're slashing at it through the jungle or whatever, the spheres, the many spheres.
So many spheres. So many domes. So much destruction.
Or we're gonna flash over to Bonnie outside and maybe give us a lead into the approaching Navy horde, and what we have to contend with on the island.
The Vice Admirals capture her.
Not even that. I think that's going to be the start of one of the fights, maybe.
Ooh.
With the Vice Admirals. I don't think we're.
I want her to fight the old lady and make her a baby. That'd be funny.
And maybe a little look now that Kizaru's separated people some more. Maybe another little look at where everyone's at the moment. See where see how things are going to start lining up. Because I do think we're going to start seeing lining up of fights at this point. Because the Kizaru's presence in the main room, that kind of puts a damper on the original escape plan as we thought it would. So I think we're going to be preparing for war rather than escape at the moment. In terms of the Kizaru-Luffy fight on itself, I think one of two things will happen. I think, in conjunction with what I just said, I think either, I'm not talking details of the fight, I'm talking like whether or not we stay with the fight.
I see. That's much safer.
I'm gonna. I think Luffy's gonna win. Obviously, I don't think it's gonna happen next chapter, but I think he's gonna win. But I think there's a very, very distinct possibility, going along with what I just said, that in order to go to these other parts, we're gonna shrink away from the Gear 5 and the Light Fruit user. And that'll just be going on in the background while we see what else is going on, because we haven't gotten an update on, especially Nico Robin in a while.
True.
Everybody else, what they're doing, what they're dealing with. Hell, maybe we'll get a look at that robot and what the hell it's doing.
I'd love more robot. Oda loves robots.
So yeah, I think if we don't go back to the fight, I think we're going to be looking at a lot of the different scenarios happening, including Zoro versus Lucci and where everybody's at.
You think Sanji helps with that? No.
Zoro versus Lucci?
You think?
No. He doesn't need it.
Does Zoro cleans up Awakened Lucci, or do you think it's close?
I wouldn't say close, but it doesn't clean up. I'd say it's medium hard.
Okay, mid diff.
I don't think Lucci's that easy.
Yeah, Gear 5 makes most opponents look easy.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is unfortunate, because you can't really power scale against it. It's tough.
So that's why I think it's a better fight to power scale with.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think he still wins. I do think that he does beat Lucci.
You think Lucci's stronger than King?
No.
Okay, so yeah, then I'm going to essentially say that's... I mean, Zoro barely won that fight, so yeah, high diff. Yeah,
but also to go on top of that... The whole fight with King, he was also battling with figuring out King's strength as well as battling the sword Enma.
Yeah.
Now we can assume he has a lot more control over that.
That's why Lucci wants to punch him so hard. It's because he couldn't tell him why the Seraphim were so tough. Why would you freaking tell me that? Think better.
But so no, I don't think it's an easy cleanup, but I do think he beats Lucci.
Okay, but it is a good fight, lasting more than a couple chapters.
I think it'll be a good enough fight.
Do you think Zoro will be surprised at all? I don't think he's fought someone awakened yet. That's the thing. That's the thing for Lucci is he's an awakened Zoan.
Well, and to that point too is we haven't, because he got taken out so quickly with Luffy. We haven't seen all that he can do.
Exactly.
So maybe there will be some surprises with Lucci.
I'm hoping so.
Maybe because also we got to take into account the fact that he's a weird awakened and that he hasn't lost his mind.
Yes.
So maybe
Kaku's the same way.
Maybe like Chopper, he's discovered more forms. Mm-hmm. Maybe their science division or what the fuck ever has started developing similar things like Chopper does to increase the number of forms they have.
Yeah, and if Zoro doesn't finish him quick and keep him down, he will recover. That's another aspect of being awakened. So I think it will be an interesting fight for sure. And maybe we'll learn more as to why Lucci himself has kept his sanity. Mm-hmm. Because what he went through.
And with Kaku as well.
If Kaku gets out of the bubble...
okay, so yeah, that's
Idiot.
it. And that's if we see that fight, next chapter. Mm-hmm. If we go back to Kizaru and Luffy fight, I think. Let me just go back real quick. Not back, but forward. I want to see something.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that with the inclusion of Gear 5 and potentially Advanced Conquerors, there's going to be a lot more trading blows with Kizaru. Because it doesn't look like he's using his Conquerors right now, which is a big attack force. And so I think there's going to be the battle is going to be a lot less one-sided seeming than it was now. Because that's usually how it goes with fights, especially with Luffy, is they get their hits in and then he starts trading and gets more and more in and more and more in and just beefs up. And I think we'll maybe see more of that. It'll either be a full chapter of that, of maybe Kizaru commenting on Gear 5, or maybe a half chapter where they get some hints in and like stuff like that, and then it goes to something else, you know? Because we're at the point where there's so many variables that it's hard to say where we could go with it because the party is so split up.
And there's so many plot points that Oda has unveiled for us.
Exactly, but I think we're staying on the island at least.
Okay.
I think we're staying on the island. Except for if we were to see KUMA again. Besides that, I think we're staying on the island. One over the robot, one over Bonnie, one over Kizaru and Luffy. Maybe we'll get little... Oh, I could also see, with Gear 5 Luffy in play now, the rest of the guys in that room are going to run away with York. Now that Gear 5 Luffy's out. And yeah, I think that's going to be kind of a setup for the fights to come, because I can totally see I can totally see everybody getting a Vice Admiral. Yeah, I think that's everything. Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Alrighty then.
That's it for me.
Misa Upsa. I'm quite excited. It's not. Gungans are pieces of trash. No.
Wow!
I'm
No, they're based on, right?
really excited. I have no idea, and that is why I enjoy living in ignorance. I love the idea that we return to Kizaru Luffy immediately for 1093. I do not expect it because there's a lot more stuff happening on the island to kind of show us where everything's happening.
Yark.
But I would like it. So, what I realistically think will probably happen next chapter, I think we do stay on Egghead. I really want to see where all the different Vice Admirals are at. Like, we've defeated the Sea Beasts, we've turned all the PXs on back to the Marine side. They're going to be going through the island now. I want to see the different Vice Admiral orders, how they're organizing, and I really do want to see the barrier fall for one reason or another that starts to let them through. Because as you said, Brock, we want to start setting up those fights.
Well, and also, I think with Kizaru there's not as much of a point of keeping it on.
Well, he was probably going to turn it off.
Yeah.
Before everything started happening. So I still think it might fall for a different reason.
Yeah.
I really like the idea that we get Doll maybe doing some commands and moving people certain ways, and maybe even her facing off against Bonnie. I think that might be a good fight. If Bonnie fights at all. Obviously,
Hottie. Oh.
Honestly, Bonnie could be severely injured by being hit into the barrier and then falling down to the Fabrio stratum. Like, that's not... Like, she could be out for a bit. And maybe in her unconsciousness, we go back through some memories of her and Kuma that ultimately leads Kuma to getting there right in the nick of time to save her from, I don't know, a Vice Admiral executing her, something falling on her, whatever.
She probably got that One Piece defense, though. So.
I think it'd be something cool where, like, we know that it's over for Bonnie unless something happens. Then, boom, there's Kuma, right? There for his daughter. That could be cool. I don't think that happens next chapter, but I could see that kind of being like an arc. So I think Bonnie, if we even do catch up with her, is just not doing great, probably in the dredges of the Fabrio stratum. Something that was commented on quite a few chapters ago that I want an update on, Garcia said, oh, give me an update on, the remnants of the island who've left. Oh, yeah, so they're in a ship, they're this many miles out. I want them destroyed, right? I want to see who's following up on that. I don't want it to be a drop plot point, because where O'Hara failed in that regard, I think maybe they can be saved some way, somehow. So I kind of want to see what Garcia is up to, if he's doing any orders or if he's still just remaining and chilling on the boat. If there is a cutaway, I would like to cut away maybe to revolutionaries. I don't know what they have to do now, but they know Kuma's gone, and they are aware that there's a crazy incident going on, perhaps, so maybe their reaction would be interesting. I'd like a Vivi update. Probably not going to happen. I'm gonna call, if we go somewhere else, it's going to be revolutionaries. I want to see where Sanji's at. I want to basically see where our Straw Hats are, and I want to see where our Vice Admirals are. That's something I need next chapter, just to kind of set the scene of where everyone's at, what they are doing, and what they're currently engaged with.
And thus we're cutting away from the fight.
Yes, that would be the cutaway from the fight. Yes, I agree with that. I really want Kaku to get out of the bubble. I don't know how. I want him out of the bubble.
He will.
I have a thought.
I want the Seraphim out of their bubbles as well. What's your thought?
For at least Kaku, we were talking about could the Kaku and Lucci have awoken other forms. Kaku, he's a freaking giraffe. Giraffes are humongous.
True.
Can he change his size? The bubble's like this, and he just changes his size and just becomes bigger and bigger and squished, and eventually the bubble has to explode because he just keeps getting bigger.
Here's the hard part, and I'd love that, but I think from the information we're given about the bubbles, they neutralize devil fruit powers, which is
true.
why Sanji put him in it,
True.
and why the Seraphim are safe in theirs. That is why I need something else to break them out of those bubbles. It could be Kizaru just shooting a laser, and that's the only thing we see is there's Kaku free. However, Kizaru doesn't give a shit about CP0. They're not on his to-save list, so I don't know why he would even need to help them unless he needs them.
Especially since they kind of, in a way, betrayed them.
Yeah, they were helping the Straw Hats for a good stretch of time. Now, even though Lucci's doing his best to get information to them, I don't know if Kizaru gives a single shit about the guy. He did say he's been a helpful agent, so I don't know. But I need them to be out of their bubbles if there's going to be more chaos. Because clearly we're at the point in the arc where things are going wrong. And that means it's going to go wrong for the Straw Hats for a little while here. And I think that also comes in the form of maybe we're not going back and forth with Kizaru yet. He is still dominating in a certain way even against Gear 5, which I think leads to Luffy having to grow in that form. He goes fucking wild. He can't control himself. He even mentions as much when he fought Lucci down in the Fabrio stratum. He's like, I can't control it. He's spinning out of control. Chopper's having to, like, grab people. Ah! Right? Luffy needs to be able to control that form better, and an opponent like Kizaru, who is there dead set on his mission, and as powerful, in my opinion, if not more powerful than Kaido, is definitely the opponent to do that against. I'm hoping for interruption. I just don't see Kizaru going the same route as other villains. I don't know why that is. There's just something about him.
We know why that is.
No, there is something about him
Really
on
like
a non-power scaling level, because I do think he's stronger and I do think he can take this off very stupidly. But I think on a deeper level, he doesn't want to be doing what he's doing, which we clearly see, and I think that might actually change his mind. But he can't just betray the government. So I think he has to think so many steps ahead of, if I do this, and this, I'm safe, they're safe, and I can go back and go, whoa! Again, he caught none of them, right? None of his main targets at Sabati, and he was still an admiral. So he can fuck up in a certain way and be fine, and maybe he, in my personal headcanon, he can see far enough into the future to do that. I don't know. But that's just my personal point. I don't think we come back to Kizaru Luffy.
How far in the future do you think he could see?
Really far. I will say this. I thought it was kind of interesting Luffy grabbing him that way. It was almost kind of similar to when he grabbed Katakuri before he threw him through, like, the mirror and into the mirror world for their fight. Mm-hmm. I thought that was kind of interesting. Luffy has him in a place where maybe Kizaru can't get away because he can't just light speed. He's being held with Conqueror's advanced armament, whatever. Right? But as soon as he lets go, he knows he's in for some shit. So he might move Kizaru somewhere else to continue their fight. That's kind of my thought process there, which is going to make Kizaru not very happy because he's like, stop getting in my way. But I don't know. I really, on the next, I want to come back to that fight, and I want that to continue. I think there's too many other things to establish next chapter that I also want established. It's okay. Egghead's so good, guys. Egghead is so good. And I want so much more of it, so I really hope that we continue not to have breaks. Is there anything else I want in 1093? No, I don't think so. I do not think so. Over to you, Kat.
All right. So continuing on what we've seen so far, Kuma, I think, is going to try and get to Bonnie. I do think he is going to show up while they're still on Egghead and help her in some way, shape, or form. I do, as much as I want him to be around longer, I don't know. If Kuma shows up on Egghead, I don't know if he's going to leave. The fight with Kizaru, a point to mention, at the end of the chapter, Kizaru tells Vegapunk, this mission's really hard on me, I don't want to drag it out. Mm-hmm. And I think he knows, just like we've said in the review and that he's trying to justify, just get the mission done, this is what I'm supposed to do, it's not what he wants to do, and the longer the fight draws out, the more he's going to want to change from doing what he's supposed to do to what he feels is right. And so I think fighting Luffy, some way in that, I think you are right that Kizaru is going to be playing mental chess between, like, what's going on here, what's going to happen in the future if he doesn't finish his tasks. Maybe he'll somehow make a deal with the Straw Hats or something. I don't know if they have, like, little body cams like our police. But,
probably.
So that he has to monitor what he says.
Yeah.
But I do think that as time goes on, Kizaru is going to eventually figure out a way to not actually have to kill Vegapunk, and let the Straw Hats and everyone get away, but also so that he won't get in trouble. Or, he might find Luffy's true Like, somebody might give this little bit of lore dump that says, oh, well, Nika Fruit is this savior, whatever, and Kizaru learns more about it, realizes Luffy isn't a bad pirate. He is doing things for the greater good, and realizes that's in line with his justice.
Uncertain.
And his beliefs. And so he actively helps and says, you know what? Fuck the government. I'm switching sides. I don't know. I don't think Kizaru will actually officially switch sides.
Yeah, I don't think he'll betray, but he'll find...
He won't betray, but he will find a loophole.
Yeah.
A way to fulfill his sense of justice.
Maybe there's a satellite that's not finished that he kills. He's like, no, I killed Vegapunk. Look, there he is. He's dead. It's a satellite that was never used.
Yeah.
Something
or
like
something.
that. He'll be smarter than that.
Or he gets one of the... Like, I don't think he will fail completely. He will secure one of his 3 tasks. Maybe if it is just York, because they realize she's useless to them anyway.
Yeah. I mean, he could report them all dead, and if they're gone, he's like, oh, I eviscerated them. But here's the 3 things. Done.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to get all 3.
Yeah. Well, his task isn't even to kill Luffy. That's not even something he has to accomplish. That's why he's trying to avoid him. He's like, get out of my way.
Yeah. So I do think that because Vivi, Wapol, and Morgans are so close, they are going to show up. Maybe not next chapter, but they are going to show up. Wapol is somehow going to help. I don't know how, but he's going to help out somehow. And this is where... And I think Egghead is where Vivi joins the crew.
On their way out of Egghead.
As they're leaving, she's like, all right, I'm out. Thanks for the lift. I'm joining my actual crew.
Somehow
she gets to switch over, especially since her dad's dead. Like, they're out to get the kingdom. Like, she doesn't have a kingdom to go back to.
You know what's funny, Kat? I'm going to add this to my predictions, and it's crackpot. But... if Luffy goes, oh man, we don't have a robot to carry the Sunny. Oh, look, a blimp. Let's attach that. Go, blimp, go! And then that's how they get far enough away that they can Kude burst off the blimp. That could be a wonderful way for Morgans to get involved without actually being like, no, he used me. And Vivi gets off at that point.
I absolutely can see that.
The blimp is the way out.
Yes. I don't think we are going to see the robot next. Like, we might see him, but
the giant.
We're not going to know the fullness of the giant robot. Like, it might see more of him waking up and moving, but we're not going to see any action from the robot yet. I do like your theory about Luffy moving Kizaru somewhere else. I think that's a great idea.
As long as he's holding him, he might have him.
Yeah. I know each of the Straw Hats, wherever they are going to do something. I don't necessarily know if all of them are going to get full-blown fights with Vice Admirals.
I mean, really, in Wano, Usopp and Nami, while they had, like scuffles and things, they didn't have, like, full fights, right?
So I don't know that Sanji and Zoro are actually going to get full-blown fights. They're going to do something important. I don't know that it's actually going to be a full-blown fight with a Vice Admiral. I know. Or if they do go up... maybe one of them isn't full-blown, drawn-out fight. Yeah. It's just gonna be like, nope, I'm done. Also, Kobe's ship, wherever he's at, they're trying to get away. Like
leaving full of lead.
Yeah, and they're supposed to be, that ship's supposed to be destroyed, but we don't know what's going on there. I don't know that we're going to get back to that. I still am holding on to the belief that Kobe and Luffy might meet up somehow.
Before Elbaf?
Before Elbaf.
Oh.
I mean, I still think that Luffy's gonna find out that his Gramps is stuck on full lead, and he's gonna...
and he goes, challenge Blackbeard.
Maybe not challenge Blackbeard, but he is... I would not put it past Luffy to... Or he might just say, oh, good knowledge, Gramps has got it. Also, I don't know.
Just so we're clear, none of us have stated that we think any Blackbeard shenanigans is gonna happen next chapter, right?
Like
we are aware of the ship nearby, but
I've kept him in mind. But I think me and
it's a long
me and Bert agreed as well that Blackbeard's all about long con at the last moment, at the right moment.
Yeah.
And I think that'll be,
We got some shit to see happen first before.
when whatever they're here for isn't in the middle of Luffy and
And
Kizaru.
again, Egghead wasn't really on the map. So the theory that Blackbeard dispersed his crew to the 3 islands that Lockheed and Luffy would have gone to, he might be at the next island.
Oh, I agree.
Because
Yes, I saw that
he didn't know
bit.
to go to Egghead.
I saw that bit in your review, actually. I agree with you, Kat. There is no proof, and I did this when I was editing, that Egghead was the next island. In fact, they ran into a whole bunch of whirlpool storm shit, and then they ended up there with the sea beast attacking and coming through the clouds.
I think I said that to Bert, too. He didn't believe me.
I certainly believe the island they were heading to is beyond this point, and because of all the shit with Bonnie in the water, they got thrown off track and hit Egghead. It's a secret place. It wouldn't be on a fucking compass.
Yeah.
Absolutely agree.
Yeah, they just ran into Egghead by happenstance.
Yep.
So Blackbeard, I don't think Blackbeard's crew is going to show up to Egghead at all. Because they don't really know about it.
Except for the Blackbeard ship we have seen
mean,
outside of it.
Have we actually seen
We have seen
they're
a
outside.
singular... No, we've seen a singular ship bearing Blackbeard's mark.
No, that's what I meant.
Oh, I thought you said, like, Blackbeard is there.
No, we've seen a ship.
Yeah, okay. When you said Blackbeard, I was just like, no, he's not.
No, I didn't say Blackbeard.
I think timeline-wise, if it's all happening in tandem, Blackbeard and people are dealing with Law. The other bit of Blackbeard is at full lead dealing with Garp. The only 2 unaccounted for individuals from both of those groups is Lafitte and Katarina Devon.
Which is why
We're all freaking out.
Which is why Burke was so focused on Katarina Devon and potentially doing something here.
Yes.
I mean, the only thing I do think Katarina Devon could maybe be doing is posing as Saturn.
Exactly. Well, that's Burke and I's big talking point was that might be actually why they're at Egghead. Because if they know somehow that an Elder is there, they could kill him, swap in. Now Katarina Devon's in the big room in Rijwa.
And also,
that sounds like a way better plan. Or even just getting to touch so she can...
Going to Egghead where Luffy is and all the shit's going down is like, oh yeah, you want to interact with that. But Blackbeard's smarter than that. If somehow he knows an Elder's there and his whole goal is to get there, what a better way than to take over as Saturn. Because then you also get the Seraphim, right? Because he has the highest command authority. So if Katarina walks up...
At the same time, though, that command authority, is it somehow DNA-based? Or, like, they know the real versus a fake?
My assumption is if she changed into someone, because it is a mythical zone, at the molecular level, she is that person.
Okay.
So it wouldn't matter. If that is the only St. J. Garcia around, those are now hers. Which Blackbeard wants, because they fucking pissed him off at Boa's Island when he had to fight against them, right?
And also, it wouldn't be weird for Blackbeard to know about...
I guess he knows about it, but, like, where it is, or that Luffy is going to be there.
But also, yeah, like he said, he always knows shit. Like, Blackbeard always seems to know something.
And that's incredibly
Like, he probably
dangerous.
knows more than most people in the world about the truth of everything.
True. He has an in somewhere.
He's just got that tricky ambition. He's very Loki-esque.
Yeah, absolutely.
Other than that, I don't know that we're going to see the revolutionaries anytime soon. Unless it's more of Sabo giving more history.
All I know is with Lucia gone and the world reacting to it, that's kind of kept him in my mind of, oh shit. And then he saw that, right? He has the most information on the Mother Flame thus far. Which is one of the things that Kizaru has to secure here. The generator that creates the Mother Flame that York can use.
Yeah.
Alright. Anything else for predictions for 1093?
I don't think so.
Good. Alright. We will see you in 1 week's time for chapter 1093 of One Piece. Till then, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.
See ya.